10 questions that Tony Nnadi must answer. I repeat, 10 questions that Tony Nnadi must answer. Before I ask the questions, welcome to this channel for some videos. Number 1. Is the quest for Biafran nation against the right to self-determination enshrined in international laws and human rights charters? Number 2. Why are you neither in support of the quest for Biafra nor in support of quest for a president of Nigeria being an Igbo person or coming from the southeast? Number 3. Is your NINAS agenda for which country, since you preach that Nigeria is a fraud and you do not accept that Nigerian constitution should be first amended or overhauled to suit our peculiar cultural and historical background as a people? Rather, you preach that it should be thrown away. Number 4. How can a country's constitution be totally thrown away, even for one day? Or is it possible for a country to exist without a constitution for a day? Number 5. Why do you call for a referendum in place of elections without endorsing constitutional amendment that will first capture referendum, which is totally missing in the current constitution? Number 6. Is there any referendum that will give birth to a new constitution without citizens' participation in a voting process, which entails the same election you are kicking against? Number 7. Must you insult highly revered personalities who have suffered a lot for Nigeria and sacrificed much in the best interests of the Nigerian citizens in order to pass your NINAS message? Number 8. Why have you exposed and advertised your ignorance so much by verbally attacking and blackmailing Bishop Matthew Hassan Kuka and General Abdul Salam Abubakar? Number 9. Do you know that reasonable people do not listen to the rantings and shoutings of a stupid and an ignorant person, but they keep quiet to listen to a wise man? Number 10. Would you mind listening to what you vomited recently and compare it with the wise words of Sheikh Husani?
Hassan Kuka, you are looking for peace on a foundation. You and Salam Abubakar, combine yourself to become a chairman and coordinator of a peace committee on a foundation of injustice. The constitution under which elections are conducted guarantees the negative outcomes we see. Why can't you, in the name of, you wear the cassock pretending to be the man on behalf of God on the scene? Why are you building peace on a foundation of injustice? Hassan Kuka, working with the Salam Abubakar that impose that falsehood on everybody, that is killing people in millions, chasing Nigerians in all directions across the world.
You draw your attention to this fact and this truth. The national anthem cannot unite a nation. A national pledge cannot unite a nation. A constitution cannot unite a nation. A nation is united by the ideals of freedom. A nation is united by equity and by justice.
My dear Tony Nnadi, would you mind letting the world know who is stupid and who is wise from what you just heard now? Did you observe how people listen to the wise and they do not care much of your shouting and your ranting and insulting people? I wish you adjust and learn to talk with respect on national issues. There is no personal idiosyncratic ideology that can save Nigeria from all her innumerable challenges. It's teamwork. Bring your ideas to the board. Let others bring theirs. It doesn't call for insults. It doesn't call for any hate speech at all, the way you sounded in your address to our revered personalities, Bishop Matthew Hassan Kuka and Abdul Salam Abubakar. Before I conclude, let me tell you something about our revered elders you are insulting and request you to tender unreserved apologies in a new video if you would not mind. Achievements of Bishop Matthew Hassan Kuka in Nigeria for peace and justice can never be forgotten. Bishop Matthew Hassan Kuka has worked tirelessly to promote peace and understanding in Nigeria. He has been a strong voice for justice and human rights in Nigeria. He has spoken out against corruption, inequality, injustice at different times and in different ways. He has promoted interfaith dialogue and understanding between Christians and Muslims in Nigeria, which is needed for anything at all, call it referendum, election, or whatever to hold. And he has worked with Muslim leaders to build bridges of peace and unity that has kept the country at least going till today. He has also given humanitarian assistance once in a while to victims of conflict and violence in Nigeria by supporting the internally displaced persons and often advocating for their rights. Yes, Bishop Matthew Hassan Kuka may not be declared a saint for now. He may not get it right in the way you expect, but do not forget, he's a highly respected figure in Nigeria, known for his tireless efforts to promote justice, peace, and human rights. Go and read Nigeria at 60, A Call to Hope, which is an independence message by Bishop Matthew Hassan Kuka, Catholic Bishop, Diocese of Sokoto, which he presented on October 1st, 2020. Among other things, he courageously asserted, the military, perhaps even worse than the colonial state, destroyed the very foundations of our democracy, bureaucracy, and public service by introducing a culture of arbitrariness and violence as a means to power. A combination of these laid the foundation for corruption as the worst manifestation of a culture of total lack of accountability. To be sure, when General Abdulsalami Abubakar broke with the military tradition of clutching to power in 1999, he laid a foundation for the return to democracy and a retreat of the military. The man who laid a foundation for the return to democracy is the same person you are trying to insult. What are you really preaching? Kuka continued in that message. He said, in 2014, the unexpected happened. A sitting president considered defeat against the run of play, and even well before the tally of all the votes had come in, the nation, well across ethnic, religions, regional, and class lines, believed it had turned the corner. A new president campaigned on a rich menu of promises, ending corruption, ending Boko Haram, ending poverty, uniting the country, among others. He ushered in his administration by promising to uphold the Constitution and said he would belong to everyone and to no one. We all looked up in hope to a man who had campaigned on the key philosophy of integrity and character. Today, the tide has turned. The president has turned his back on almost all the key promises he made to the people of Nigeria during his campaign. Our country now looks like a boiling pot that everyone wants to escape from. Nepotism has become the new ideology of this government. In following this ideology, it is estimated that the president has handed over 85% of the key positions to the northern Muslims and has ensured that men of his faith hold tight to the reins of power in the most critical areas of our national life, the National Assembly and the security agencies, which is exactly what his successor, Bola Tinubu Ahmed, is almost continuing and then implementing, and Kuka has not been silent. Well, to learn something more about Bishop Matthew Hassan Kuka, go and read his book, Witness to Justice, an insider's account of Nigeria's Truth Commission, which was published at Ibadan in 2011. You will discover in that book that in Nigeria, Reverend Father Matthew Hassan Kuka, now His Lordship Most Reverend Dr. Matthew Hassan Kuka, Catholic Bishop of Sokoto, was a member of the Human Rights Violations Investigation Commission of the Federal Government of Nigeria, 1999 to 2002. He was appointed Secretary of the National Political Reform Conference from February to July 2005. He was appointed Chairman of the Ogoni Share Reconciliation by the federal government in 2005. From 2007 up until 2009. Father Kuka, now Bishop Kuka, was a member of the Electoral Reform Committee. Nigeria and Nigerians cannot forget the achievements of General Abdul Salami Abubakar in spite of your insults. There is no doubt that General Abdul Salami Abubakar helped Nigeria become a democracy. He made sure the country had free and fair elections in 1999, without which you will not be speaking Nina's grammar about election and referendum today. Abubakar gave power to the newly elected President Olusegun Obasanjo on May 29, 1999. This was a peaceful transfer of power. Do not forget that he could have behaved like all other military men who had the privilege of acquiring power. He would have stuck to power, he would have refused to hand over, and you will only be shouting. You won't have the mouth to say what you are saying today. So let's acknowledge those who have behaved well and have sacrificed the usual temptation to stick to power. Abubakar helped bring peace to Liberia by facilitating peace talks in 2003. He also helped observe elections in Zimbabwe in 2002. He made changes in the Nigerian military by retiring some leaders and made the military more accountable. Do you know what Bishop Matthew Hassan Kuka has suffered for the good of Nigeria and Nigerians? Listen to this news.
According to a statement released by the Catholic Archdiocese of Sokoto, youths led by some adults in the background were said to have attacked the Holy Family Catholic Cathedral and Bishop Lawton's Secretariat, in addition to the Bekita Center located along Aliu Jodi Road. In a reaction, the Catholic Bishop of Sokoto Diocese, Matthew Kuka, confirmed that he is unhurt and safe. He commended the governor of Sokoto State, Aminu Tambuwal, for acting quickly by declaring the 24-hour curfew to curb the protest. The statement also announces that all masses in Sokoto metropolis have been suspended until the curfew is lifted.
My dear Tony Nnadi, from what you have heard now, I request you to tender unreserved apologies to our revered personalities, Bishop Matthew Hassan Kuka and General Abdulsalami Abubakar, for the way you spoke. And then learn to respect people, even when you are trying to introduce any ideology in the country's administration. We are together in this, and by God's grace, Nigeria will become a greater nation. Or independent nations will eventually emerge in Nigeria to the glory of God, and each one will continue to grow for the good of humanity. God bless you for taking pains to listen up to this point. Share this message with everyone. Send it to Tony Nnadi. Send it to all Ninas group. Let them have a rethink. God bless you.